is actually the work of the church of what's happening now. Let's figure out what's happening now to the kids, you know, and get them together, get them on the road to righteousness. Now, when is the election actually?
The election is April 21st.
Oh, well, it's close.
April 21st. There's going to be a number of forums going on around the city, being sponsored by a number of groups.
Sure.
However, but this one tonight is being sponsored by us personally,
wow.
so that there's not a hidden agenda
Sure,
or another
sure.
agenda, or sometimes no agenda at all,
Sure,
and that's when it
sure.
gets dangerous. So this will be totally about the children, totally about us,
Okay.
and what we plan to put forth. You know, if the people of Plainfield decide that we need to be on that board.
Well, I'll tell you this right here. You contact me next month so we can have you on the show.
Absolutely.
And bring everybody
Absolutely.
on the show and everything. And, you know, we can get you guys heard by the community.
Absolutely.
So that's so important, you know.
Absolutely.
People need to know that there's choice out there. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
They need to know.
Absolutely. That's why I stopped by, because I knew what I was dealing with when I came.
You
I
can
knew
walk
what
in
I
this
was
open
working
door.
with.
This is open door church, you know, because you know when I get the money to build my church, I'm gonna build a farm around it.
I know
you know,
it's
I'm gonna
true.
grow food, vegetables for everybody. You know,
I know it's the
I'm
truth.
gonna
I'll
change
be
the
right
whole
there
game.
getting my share.
Well, go ahead. There's nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it. Thank you for coming by.
Thank
and
you for
everything.
giving us this time, Reverend Zach. We
Anytime.
appreciate it.
Anytime. Anytime. God bless.
God bless.
We have the church in the hood, Reverend. Introduce yourself if you can, Reverend Clark. Ladine Clark, it is? LaDonna Clark. Okay, LaDonna Clark. Let me go ahead if you can. All right. What do you want to say to us today?
Well, basically, first of all, I want to say I bring you greetings from Plainfield's Hip Hop Church, Church in the Hood.
Okay.
And I'm the pastor and founder, and also bring you greetings from Pastor Jim Colvin from United Church of Christ Congregational, who says he knows of you very well from the plight with Gilbert.
Oh, okay. Yes. You're fighting that.
Yes.
You're wrestling on that right there for sure.
Yeah, and he's one of him and his church families has been wonderful community partners.
Okay.
And helping us to bring an alternative worship experience to the community for the young people.
Sure.
And also give them an opportunity to express their love for God in a way that is something very close and natural for them relative to hip hop.
Sure.
So, you know, we let them come and do raps for God, you know. We have musicians young musicians that have committed to the ministry, and they do some awesome work. And definitely, I'm glad to be here.
Sure.
Thank you, Reverend.
We got the door open. We have council president sitting right here. Rasheed
Yes.
Burney is right here in the house and stuff. And we got Dr. Willison here with the solar panel thing. You know what I mean? And so, you know, Brenda Gilbert is here. You know, we have an open door, so because we want the community to be heard, and God has blessed us to try to stay here, you know, as long as we can.
I just wanted to add, with what we want to do is do whatever we can to bring the young voices to the table.
Sure.
That's what we're going to be working on with different entities in the community, and we welcome different entities in the community. One of the goals and visions that the Lord has laid on my heart is a television show, radio show,
Sure.
and some, I guess, location in the one of the newspapers where our young people can lift their voices. And you know, I want to be a part of spearheading, letting their voices be heard, their concerns be heard. Because a lot of times we're in meetings, and from the time when I came to Plainfield back in '99. I was on North Avenue, of course, from the train station at a ministry called City of Light.
Sure.
All the way up until now, we've been fighting for our young people to have a place at the table in most of these community meetings. So it's important for our young people not to just be talked about, not to just have plans for them, but to also bring them to the table, because they do have a lot to say. They do have a lot on their minds. So
Well, let me say this right here, Reverend, is that what I see lacking in a lot of the young, and I guess most of you would agree if you have looked as I have, the lack of mechanical ability. It's like that they don't do things like we used to do, like fix bicycles and things. You know, they don't. And I think that's someone has bred it that, you know, that creativity, and I think that's one of the things that offers a lot of this havoc that we got going on in the community.
Well, they may not fix bikes, but I'll tell you what, you give them any type of technology.
Sure.
You give them iPods, you give them anything to do with computers, you
Sure.
give them anything to do with websites, you give them anything to do with graphic designs, and
But
so
can we
many
turn
other
this into
things.
a economic thing for them? Because that's right there is where we need to go with them, because not all of them going to college today.
Absolutely.
You know?
Again, that's another thing that we want to do and show as people are talking about. I was in some meetings recently with reentry and things like that, and as they talk about jobs in warehouses and jobs in
We
trucking
didn't have
and
no
all that kind of
warehouses
stuff.
anymore, do we?
Well, that's part of their whatever they're housing.
Yeah.
But I told them we also need to bring to the table opportunities to train our young people in some of these areas that I was just talking
Sure.
about, because some of them will be more apt to be drawn to those fields, which could give us affordable flyers, business cards to some of the local businesses and nonprofits, and our young people can be producing those things.
Okay, that's what we're going to need
Go
to do
ahead,
that.
go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
And to that end, I want to address the fact that it is very, very important that whether it be manual labor or technological labor, our children need to be able to read,
Sure,
comprehend,
sure.
write, analyze. You understand what I'm saying? And if our children can't do that,
Sure.
it doesn't matter whether it's manual labor or technical labor, because you got to be able to read the instructions.
But Brenda, how do
And
we
then
speak that?
comprehend what
How do
you
we
read.
speak that to the parents? Because that right there is very important. Because most of the reading that you're gonna get is the time and the time frame, and the actual time frame would be at home. So somehow we're gonna have to restructure that right there. Also,
We have to
We're gonna have
restructure. We have to restructure our educational system.
And
Okay,
home also,
because-
and home has to
hold
be
all the stakeholders, okay, accountable.
sure.
Okay, too long we have sat back.
Sure.
Okay, especially in this city, because I personally feel that the kind of taxes that we pay
Sure.
in this city, our children should be getting a sterling education, one
But
comparable
Brenda,
to
Brenda, I'm
Yale.
not going against.
Okay.
I have no kids here in school. I'm not going against what you're saying or what any of the others that we've had up here say. But the behavior at home, there's something that needs to be said to the parents to create some kind of table, some kind of area.
To
I mean, you
bridge,
can't
to
have
bridge,
kids
to
leave
bridge.
school with fluorescent light and then come home and study on the couch. You know, on a leather, you know, you just can't do that right there. You got to have something
Some
to
type to something
bridge
to
them in.
bridge
You just-
home and
right.
school.
Right, exactly.
And there is bridges for home and
Right.
school for the elementary level.
Sure.
It's that 12 to 17 level that we've got available
Right,
for
right.
our group between
Okay.
that 12 and 17
Okay.
year old level.
All right.
I think one of the things that needs to change is the thinking in our culture.
Sure.
And Obama is, I'm so grateful that we have someone like Obama, because what Obama did was he made it cool to be smart.
Sure.
He made it cool to be literate.
Yes.
He made it cool to dress properly, and he made it cool to speak properly. And I'm fully in agreement
Yes.
with the dialects that are spoken at home, you know, in different
Sure.
communities. That's fine. But when you get out of that, you have to speak what the business is.
You have to
what
speak
the-
standard
world.
English. You just have to speak standard
you
English.
cannot say you can't speak, you know,
Standard
Ebonics at home. That's
Right.
fine, and I fully encourage that. But you also need to know
Standard English.
what is, and the same with the Spanish kids. They can speak Spanish at home, but when they leave,
Right.
they have to speak some
Standard English.
English.
That's
And,
what I was told.
and
Standard
Obama is a celebration that we can do this.
And out of all due respect to you, President Burney, you can encourage Ebonics, but there'll be no Ebonics spoken in my home.
Okay,
Okay.
that's fine.
But we just using. We all have a good slang.
I just want
Whoa,
to
Brenda, I want to put this right up. It's just like this right. If you come to my house and I'm eating, I'll eat with my right hand. You know, I have the fork in my right hand, and probably won't have a knife. But I'll tell you right now, if you change the demographics and we're sitting here, I don't know what happens. Automatically, the fork go here and the knife here. You understand me?
Yes, I
and I
do.
ain't like that right there. And
Yes, I
and
do.
I'll do it. You think I'm a professional? It just automatically kick in. But at home, I grab the chicken or whatever it is by hand and everything. So let me ask you this right here. I'm gonna go to Dr. Willison for 1 minute. What can we do with the programs that you're doing and to bring business and bring opportunities to our young?
Well, one of the things I want to go back to, and you know, I'm excited to meet you, is what the churches could actually do.
Sure.
And one of the workshops that we're doing now is the 21st Century Church, where people go to church,
Sure.
but the churches have to get on the cutting edge.
Sure.
You're right, we're in a technological age. Manual labor, for the most part, is out.
Sure.
And our young people are excellent with technology.
Sure.
So we need to capture that and harness those in the CDCs.
Sure.
Our churches should have a CDC.
Sure.
And
Sure.
after school, we should be working on programs
Sure.
where we're teaching them web design, where we're teaching them the appropriate skills to use the technology. But also, we need to challenge the curriculum in the school.
Absolutely.
The pastors
Absolutely.
and the parents.
Sure.
Because it doesn't make sense for you to teach me a 20th century curriculum in the 21st century.
Absolutely.
You know, so we really need to understand curriculum design and challenge it. And I think the churches or faith-based organizations is a critical place to look at that and really understand what's going on in the education
But you know,
system.
I think that we were so, I was talking to a friend of mine in the state of Texas, and we're so used to being beat down and then come back. You know, a good many people have been beat down and come back. You know, like the walk of Jesus, you know, before the cross and everything was beat, spat, and all that right there. But as I explained to a friend of mine, I said, you know, I've studied for a long time. There's also another approach that the Muslims, when they talk about Prophet Isa, which is Jesus, they say, you know, that Prophet Isa did not go through that beaten down that they said. According to the Islamic law, that the identity was fell on another man, and he took the beating. But this prophet, Prophet Isa, which is Jesus, Mary's son, went up to the heavens. So I think that not that we're trying to change our philosophy, but I'm only saying that there's different analogies for reasons, whatever it may be. But I think that we're going to have to today look for how we can get you from from A to Z without that, you know, in between beat down, jail, this, that, and other, whatever. Because the idea is this right here. Today, we have a community today where we got kids today that's living in $300,000-$400,000 homes. Where are they going to go? They got to get an education to keep that lifestyle up.
They have to get an education. They have to, I agree, have to be able to read and write and be illiterate. And with our young people, and they're using the technology, texting, they're writing with the websites and the online Facebook,
Sure.
and MySpace, they're reading. So what I'm saying is what we have to do is figure out as adults and as the people, powers that be with the resources, is how do we create dialogue and get their attention and draw them in. And also going back to education, you can't ask young people who have been exposed to so much technology to just go and sit in a class and listen to somebody talk all day long. You know, so we have to work on, like President Burney said from the council, that, you know, Obama made it cool to be smart, yes. And what we have to do is figure out how to make help our kids understand that it's cooler to be intelligent, you know what I'm saying? And I don't think that they don't understand that. They just want to, and we don't have enough adults that are engaging them in their own intelligence. That's
Because
my
it's too
thing,
many
'cause
adults.
when I talk to them, they're very
There's too
intelligent.
many adults riding around in their car with their hat turned backwards. You think the kid? I was going to call the police on the guy. I thought he stole one of my neighbor's car. He had his hat turned backwards. He ride those little young cat riding the car. Come to find out, the car was him. So you know.
I did want to address two of the comments that was made by Dr. Willison. You talked about the church, and you talked about the curriculum. Two of the things that this team is promoting is the fact that there needs to be a quality curriculum, but it needs to be competitive. They need not get an A in this community, and in another community is a B or a C. The other thing that we're promoting is the fact that we'd like to see, and I know people have problems with churches and school systems being mixed, but I think we have to go back to that. So we've discussed an initiative about churches adopting a school and or schools. And interestingly enough, having approached the urban clergy with this, they too were walking in that same vein. Okay. So, you know, we are looking. There are those in the community who are beginning to direct their focus to that.
And Brenda, let me say this, because we got less than a minute though. We have to walk in even to the storefront churches, because wherever people at, we need to go. We can't make it one group that's going to do it and this and that. Melissa, can we close with a commercial, please?
Too often, a child's abduction, child abuse, and unspeakable acts against our most precious resource, our children. And what's the most common way for predators to gain access to our children? The internet. Well, finally, there's protection. Presenting the world's ultimate tracking system, or www.whatsgood.com. That's WUTSgood.com. A web browser that notifies the parents of offers sites their children access and the people with whom they communicate, thereby preventing cyberstalking. What's Good is specifically designed to protect children ages 5 through 17 while enabling them to
Yeah,
enjoy
your kids will
a
find a way
safe
around
and
it.
entertaining environment. In
Yeah,
addition,
that
there's
right.
a social networking
Can't
site
get
that
this
offers
for
the
now.
same
The guy here was
security
coming
but
back
allows
next month.
peer-to-peer
That did
networking.
this?
Only
Yeah.
registered members of What's
Yeah,
Good.com
owner called
will
me.
be permitted on the social
Can't
network,
break
and
this.
both are monitored
They sign
24
in,
hours
they
a
gotta
day,
go through that
7
web
days a
web
week to
browser.
ensure no adults
Yeah.
communicate
Anything
with
they
children
pull, you
online.
know.
Your child deserves What's Good. To